Hey guys, it's HydraTek here. In the last video, someone suggested to make a tutorial about bubbling sound effects recreation in Vital. So here it is. I thought it was a nice idea, also an interesting sound design exercise to make. Actually, I found out that the model itself of the sound is not that complicated. It's not a perfect model, of course. You can experiment on your own to make your own variation and further modify it. I will link the free patch in the description of this video. But here it is. This is the sound. Maybe I can bring up the attack for some cool ramp-up effect. I will explain later how I've made those macro assignments, but basically, let's deactivate the effects for a moment. So, starting from scratch, I will bypass the assignments of LFO number 1, so we can basically start from a pure sine wave with this envelope shape for the main amplitude envelope, with this exponential decay. Then what I've made was to assign LFO number 1 to the pitch of the sine wave. Here the exact value is not that important since it's a sound effect. So after assigning LFO number 1 to the pitch of the sine wave, I created this sort of shape where the pitch goes down and then it goes up afterwards. You can experiment with the shape. The idea was to create a bipolar pitch modulation really fast. So you start to get this bubbling sound. If I slow it down, you get this sound. But if I start to speed it up, you start to hear the bubbling effect. Eventually, when you get to really extremely fast values, you start to hear a discernible pitch. Here, around 0.1 seconds was the value that I thought it was the sweet spot. Then, going to the effects, I used the stereo delay to create a nice stereo movement of the sound. Then you can start to hear the repetitions. You can also adjust the filter of the delay a little bit to make it, let's say, a little bit darker. So, emulating a sort of underwater effect. But to bring it further, what I did was to assign the same LFO to the tempo of the left and right channel delays to create that fuzzy and pitch effect. Let's hear it. Of course, I can use more or less feedback on the sound. I can go up an octave. Then I used a reverb, a low pass filter, basically I have signed the cutoff of the low pass filter and the reverb mix to the first macro, so that when I open it up, I get a brighter and less reverbed sound. I also get more feedback from the delay, just because I wanted to experiment a little bit with this assignment too. This is like underwater, so far away. And this is closer to us. Then I assigned macro number 2 to the decay of the main envelope. To make it longer or shorter. Yeah, actually I can also modulate the attack. So we bring up both the attack and the decay together. But yeah, this is just an idea. For macro number 3, I basically wanted to speed up the LFO speed. You can get interesting tone effects. It sounds almost like modulating the grain size of a granular synth. And you get this spooky sine tone. Then, just for fun, I added the chorus and the phaser, assigned it to this wet macro to modify the tone a little bit. Yeah, and basically it is just that. The patch is really simple, but highly effective, I would say, with just a sine wave, a pitch modulation, a stereo delay with the tempo unlinked and modulated by the same LFO, a little bit of reverb filter and just other effects to finish off the sound. We can also use a compressor just to compress it a little bit. But yeah, this is the sound. I hope you like it. The advantage of synthesizing a common sound like this one, which you can find in a lot of libraries, or actually you can record it for yourself with your mic, is that when you have an effective model, you can really customize it in a lot of different ways. You can modify the shape to create something different. Let's experiment it a little bit. As you can hear and see, there are a lot of possibilities to really transform this patch into something else. Finally, I tried to use this sound, this patch, in a musical context to experiment a little bit in a creative way. For example, be an exciting organic slash hybrid layer to an accompanying bass sound or arrangement to bring in some odd, weird, aquatic effects. So let's hear first in isolation the sound with the automations that I did. Yeah, and basically it loops over. In the end, I made some modifications. Yeah, let's hear our patch in the context of an experimental kind of beat with some drum and bass and cyberpunk influences. Yeah, the sounds that you have heard are taken from my sound packs that are available right now for the Black Friday sales at 50% off if you're interested in some creative, modern, and inspiring sounds on my website at www.hydra-sound.com in the shop page. As I've already said at the beginning of this video, the patch will be given for free, as well as the custom Vital skin that I designed for the Pack Mutant. If you like it, you can use it for free as well. As always, feel free to give me any kind of suggestions for future videos. I'm open to any feedback. I read all the comments and reply to them all. And see you the next time.
Into the future.